Hello and welcome to Buckman's Model Mania. Today I'm going to be working on the Optimus Prime build from Fanhome, Stage 9. Already got all the parts out here, and you see one in here. This little pin was in here in the bag with this part. You got to be very careful. You don't want to lose small parts like that. So let me go ahead and get right into the build. First thing it has you do is to take this part here, another of the let's see, what is it, stabilizer joint, and you see there's a 2 on there, and it says to make sure the 2 is down, and then so this part here will go on here like that, also marked with a 2. And it's going to be held in place by an HP screw. So let me get out a screw. These are all parts of the instep of Optimus Prime. It says to tighten it without over tightening. And it also said to use the narrowest part. Don't over tighten it. It's got to be able to move a little bit. This is going to go back onto this part, which we haven't seen in a couple of stages. And by the way, if you haven't noticed, I've actually filmed multiple videos in a row. That's why everything is on the bench in exactly the same spot on every video. So here you'll see there's a 2 there to go along with the 2 on here. This is going to go on again like it was on the last one. It's a little bit tight fit. You can see here these actually slant in a little bit, so a little bit of working with it, and I don't want to fight with it overly much because I don't want to break it. So that's got the screw hole lined up, and that's going to be an FP screw holding that on. Let me go ahead and get one of those now. Seems like I might need to remagnetize these. Now, to magnetize a screwdriver, you just run a rare earth magnet over top of it. This can actually use the larger screwdriver, PH1 instead of the PH00. Or is this PH00? No, that's PH0. And now you can see all of those are on. Kind of interesting that these ones, the screws come from the inside. These screws, I'd have to guess then that this is going to be the inside of the foot, so you don't see the screw heads. Okay, so once that's on there, take the foot itself, and you see there's 2 pins there. 2 lugs there. I'm just making sure which way this goes. I've got it this way, toes that direction. And toes are this direction. And I was about to put that on backwards. A little bit difficult to put it on backwards. You can see the different heights on the pins. The lugs are the same way. They're slightly different height. So the longer pin is obviously going to go to the shorter lug. It's going to go on there just like that, and that's going to be held in place by 2 IP screws. This foot is actually pretty hefty at this point. Not a car part work hefty, but probably a good 8 to 10 ounces. Go ahead and set that down while I get a screw set up on here. Put that back on there, make sure the lugs, that's the one problem with setting it down. They popped off the lugs. It's back in place. Drop the screw down in there. get it started. Set the other screw onto the head of the screwdriver. Hopefully it'll stay in place. Put that screw down inside there and then tighten them all the way down. Come on. And again, you're going into plastic if you do this yourself. Don't over tighten. And the foot's still got a pretty good flex there. There's the foot. Whole lot more stable than it was before. And I've actually got it facing me the right side towards me. So you have two little gears here. The smaller gear is going to just push into this hole here. In the back of the gear, there's just a pin to push in there. So it's going to push in. The larger gear, I'm just looking. Let's see. First, insert an eyepiece screw in the center of the hole and engage the part indicated hole. Move the instep protection plate slightly. Yeah. So let me go ahead and get the eyepiece screw on here. And yay! Throw screws around. Got the screw on here. I'm going to put it through the gear if I can. Come on, go through there. Through the gear. Set this over here where I can actually see it. Very gently work the gear back into there. Into the hole and tighten it down. And it doesn't quite engage, but it looks like it could. Let's see what that part dropped down. So the foot is mostly complete. There's still a few detail parts to put on here. And this is where the pin comes in. Note that the orientation of parts on the wheel support on A, there's an R marked. Okay, so, and this R goes out here. The lug here is on the back. Down here is where this pin is going to go through these holes. Use pliers to insert it carefully as it is tight. First place the pin on one side, then position 9B, then push 9H all the way through to the other end, position support the foot, and fix it in place with 2 M screws. So let me get this started. I might have to go off camera to do this. As a matter of fact, I am, because I don't want to lose the pin. I just want to make sure that everything goes right. So I will be back when I get that done. Okay, it's not fully seated. I wanted to show this before I see it completely. You can see that it's there. I am going to use a pair of needle nose pliers to finish pushing it home. But what I did instead was I used the table to push down on it. That way I'm not scarring anything. Matter of fact, I used the edge of the table to push it down. Matter of fact, I'm going to see if I can use this block instead, because I don't want anything from the pliers. Now that's not going to work. Matter of fact, I put a hole in the wood. That's how tight this pin is in here. Means it will not ever come out. Popped in pretty good, and There's what I'm talking about. There's a little bit of scarring. You may not be able to see it on this camera. I don't like having to do that. So now it's flush on this side, almost flush. Flush enough, I don't know. Can we get, there's a little bit of scratching there. And even though that's not completely flush, I'm pretty sure it is close enough, and it still moves. So it goes on here. Let me see. This. I'm just looking to see. Okay, this is actually going to fold up. This post, this screw hole, are going to line up with this post here and that screw hole. There's a keyway on here. There's only one way it'll fit on here. Might be easier to push that down out of the way first. The R is on the outside. That gets held in there by 2 EM screws, which means I'm going to be dipping these in oil, and they are very small screws, or very, not small, but they're very short. And they're flanged. Not the big flange, but actually they're not flanged, they're countersunk. So let me get the first one here. That one started. And let me get this one started. I just happened to look down at the instructions. I'm pretty impressed the way the next couple parts go on. That one's down. That one's down. This part goes up like that. Bring this back up. And that's the reason I brought this down, is because this part has to go into the middle here. The next piece that goes on here, being held on by IP screws, is this ball joint. And it's going to go onto these 2 posts right here. You can see posts on there. There's actually little sockets for those that to sit down onto. Go ahead and get this one started. Get the other one started. That one's tightened all the way down. This post is here for one specific part, and this is what I think is actually pretty cool. Let me make sure. Yeah, that's it. So you can see that socket with the grooves on either side. This is how the wheel goes on here. Pops on there just like that. And then this part comes up and grabs hold of the wheel and holds it in place. So that is most of the foot done. I'm not sure how much is left to do on the foot, but it is getting pretty solid. And this is just the right foot. There's have the left foot eventually to do as well. I'm just looking, it shows the, is that the back? Oh no, that's from the bottom. It shows the stabilizers. Like I said, that's kind of cool that that's movable. There's all the stabilizers on the bottom. Not really anywhere good to grab the foot right now. Get all the various pieces down, and that is all there is to do in stage 9. So, appreciate you coming by. Hope you're enjoying this build. I'm having a great time building it. I'm enjoying it. I love the way it's looking. Like, subscribe, leave comments. I answer almost every comment. Come on over to Hobby Time Modelers on Facebook, YouTube, and Discord. Links are in the description. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great day tomorrow. And I will see you in the next video.